Let's talk about how Bill Barr may have incriminated himself during today's congressional testimony before the House Judiciary Committee. Why? Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So I just spent several painful hours watching Attorney General Bill Barr testify to the House Judiciary Committee. Let's just hit some of the highlights, I should probably call them lowlights, and see what kind of trouble Bill Barr may have gotten himself into. And I have to start with my favorite, and that is Bill Barr's claim under oath that I don't read the president's tweets. Wait, what? So all you have to do is look at some of the headlines over the past year. How about this one? Barr blasts Trump's tweets on Stone case. Impossible for me to do my job. So Bill Barr said that because of what the president has been tweeting about the Roger Stone case, it makes it impossible for him to do his job. Well, if he doesn't read the tweets, how could it possibly impact his job? He has no idea what the president is tweeting. You know, of course, that was an absurd claim under oath by the Attorney General. And folks, I've handled my share of perjury cases during my 30 years as a prosecutor, so I jotted a little something down from memory. Admittedly, I haven't presented a perjury charge to the grand jury in a few years, given that I've been retired for 2 years, but it goes a little something like this. On or about July 28, 2020, within the District of Columbia, having been placed under oath by a person competent to administer oaths, William P. Barr stated the following, quote, "I do not read Donald Trump's tweets," close quote, a statement William P. Barr knew to be false at the time he made it. That would be a 5-year perjury offense. So that was one of the big ticket lies that jumped out at me immediately when he said it. How about the way Representative Eric Swalwell took him to task on the Roger Stone case? You know, Representative Swalwell asked very pointedly, Attorney General Barr, name one other defendant where you personally intervened, and when the career prosecutors who tried the case made a sentencing recommendation based on the evidence, based on the facts, based on the federal sentencing guidelines, name one other case where you intervened to dramatically reduce that sentencing recommendation. And you know, Bill Barr had to grapple with that one a little bit, but he conceded there were no other cases where he personally intervened to reduce a defendant's sentencing recommendation. I mean, that is favoritism, cronyism, corruption. He did a favor, though, for a criminal associate of Donald Trump's, the person who was the Trump campaign's access point to WikiLeaks and Julian Assange for purposes of coordinating and releasing weaponized emails that Russia had stolen from the DNC. How about the Lafayette Square incident? So Bill Barr did not want to admit, in the worst way, he did not want to admit that clearing those protesters, parting the protesters so Donald Trump could waltz across the street and stand in front of a church he's never entered to hold up a book he's never read for a photo op that was promptly turned into a campaign ad. He did not want to admit that that had anything to do with a presidential photo op. But he admitted a couple of things that are pretty important and that should come back to haunt him. First of all, he said that there was this plan in place, I think he said the day before, to push the perimeter back, to push the protesters back another block, to move them farther away from the White House. And this was something that had been discussed the day before. So he told Congress in his testimony that, so what we did that day had nothing to do with the conduct of the protesters. In other words, it wasn't necessary to address any threat posed by the protesters. The second thing he said that will be problematic for Bill Barr in the future is he said, well, we gave them a warning that we would be moving the perimeter back. We warned them about this. Can I tell you something, folks? Warning somebody that you're about to assault them with tear gas or flashbang grenades, warning somebody that you're about to violate their constitutional rights, their First Amendment right to free speech and to peaceably assemble, is not a defense to a criminal assault, is not a defense to violating their civil rights. If I say to somebody, hey, sport, I'm going to hit you in a minute, and then I go, guess what? I've still committed an assault. It's not a defense that I warned the prospective victim. Just like it's not a defense that Bill Barr said, well, we warned them before I gave the green light to gas them. So this is something, again, that will have to be taken up in January because this was criminal conduct by Bill Barr and others. Finally, real quickly, the claim by the president that we have heard over and over and over again that, voting by mail is rife with fraud. Well, we know Donald Trump votes by mail. We learned today Bill Barr has voted by mail. So it's good enough for them, but it's not good enough for the rest of us. Did we hear one shred of evidence, one single data point in today's testimony that the Department of Justice has ever prosecuted somebody who has fraudulently voted by mail? I don't know that that question was precisely asked, but there was no data, no evidence supporting this ridiculous claim that if people are allowed to vote by mail, vote more safely than having to go to the polls in Donald Trump's, ever exploding coronavirus America, that somehow there would be rampant fraud. I think that was laid to rest, that ridiculous claim by Donald Trump. Now, a few of the standouts during today's congressional hearing, and I don't want to miss anybody or be disrespectful of anyone, but among others, I really enjoyed and appreciated the questioning from Representative Neguse, Representative Demings, Representative Swalwell, Representative Jayapal, Representative Cicilline, Representative Richmond, Representative Hank Johnson. One of the other moments that really caught my attention and stuck with me, and I wrote it down as soon as he said it, was something that Representative Jamie Raskin said, and I hadn't heard it put quite this way before. He said, Attorney General Barr, do you realize that you and Donald Trump have made America a global pariah state? A global pariah state. That is Donald Trump and Bill Barr and Mike Pompeo's America, a global pariah state. What can be done about it? Well, the two options that we have when it comes to criminal, corrupt, abusive attorney general, absent resignation, which I think unlikely, are impeachment and prosecution, right? I don't know if Congress will develop an appetite for impeachment. I hope they do. I hope this was basically the opening ceremony in the impeachment hearing, the impeachment inquiry into Bill Barr. Because if they give Bill Barr a pass for his unconstrained lawlessness, I am afraid of what he might do come November and what he might do between November and January. Impeachment is one option. Of course, prosecution is the other. And unless a state chooses to bring prosecution against him, I actually think the District of Columbia could bring a charge against him for assault. I don't see that as likely, but if no state brings a charge against him, the federal government is certainly not going to charge him. Why? Because he's in charge of the Department of Justice, the prosecutorial organization of the federal government, and he's unlikely to support a criminal charge against himself. So what can be done about it? We can make sure we keep track of every shred of incriminating evidence, including today's testimony by Bill Barr. And come January, we are going to have our work cut out for us. It's a good thing that justice is energizing. Folks, stay safe, and I look forward to talking with you all again soon.